What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Shoryuken here and back with another video. Last week we were talking about Street Fighter 6 and what Capcom is doing with that, and that new trailer they released recently which showcased those 4 new characters, 1 returning, 3 new. This time I kind of want to talk about something else, also about Capcom of course, but about other games and ideas and things you would like to see. As we all know, remakes are very much fresh in the air. We have, of course, Final Fantasy VII Remake that came out a little while ago. We have the Yakuza series, which is a Sega game, crime game, and they have their Kiwami series where they've been remaking their previous old titles. We also have, of course, Capcom itself doing Resident Evil 2 Remake and 3, and now doing Resident Evil 4 Remake, which should be coming out in about 2 months. So it got me thinking, with all these remakes coming about, what other Capcom game would we like to see remade? Whether it be a old existing franchise that just was dead and you want to see brought back, or just, you know, an old game that was out that you felt they should just redo and make better again. So with that, I want to know your thoughts. Before we get into that video, we'll just go ahead and say that my name is Shoryuken, and again, if you like Capcom content, then please like and think about subscribing. It would really help out the channel quite a bit. So let's go ahead and get back into the video. So, as I said earlier, we do have a couple of remakes already out, and they're pretty well done, right? We've got games like Final Fantasy VII, the Yakuza series, and as I mentioned, the Resident Evil series. I'm pretty sure there are other games that have been remade, but I can't really think of them off the top of my head. And also, I've just been playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, so it's pretty fresh. And yes, I know I'm late to the party, but I don't really care. I don't really have that much time to play games like that anymore, so... but still, I've been playing it, and it kind of just got me thinking, like, man, this was really well done, and I really wish that other companies would do this for the other titles, right? At first I was worried about this kind of being of a cash grab, right? You just, you know, we're gonna redo this game, remake it, you know, just to kind of reap the benefits of, you know, selling the game again. But seeing as what Square's done with Final Fantasy VII Remake, but also even just seeing what Capcom has done with Resident Evil 2 Remake, which was absolutely phenomenal, it got me thinking, like, man, this is actually really cool and neat. And I like how some developers are doing that and bringing back old, great, classic titles that were fantastic back then, but kind of just updating them now and giving them modern and improved controls. Because let's be honest, as fantastic and great as those games were, you know, at the time you played them, they're good because it's your first time being exposed to something like that. The controls and stuff weren't really great, right? Games also had tank controls, they moved awful, sluggish, lag, frame rates were just abysmal. But again, it was your first time seeing something like that, so you were very forgiving and you just thought that that's how gaming was. Now, of course, the way technology is, and these games all moving at 60 frames per second, or just even a solid stable 30, you can get a much more enjoyable experience with that game, right? So enough rambling on. It got me thinking, of course, what Capcom game would we like to see, right? What game would you want to see brought back, remade? Again, it could just be a franchise that maybe has been dead and, well, a lot of them have been dead and buried, but it could just be like a game coming back, like for instance, let's say they do a new Captain Commando, right? So it'd just be a new one, or you could obviously have like the original Captain Commando just redone. So you also have to look at it from a standpoint of the climate and financials. I understand it. They can't just remake or do some obscure game and just put it out there, because, you know, making a game is expensive and they do expect these titles to sell and want them to sell. So you have to, you know, choose something that you feel people will want and is popular enough, right? So I broke it down to just having, you know, my one dream title I would like for them to remake. So that's a title I want done regardless of how it performed in the past, and also my title I think that could be realistically done, that would achieve favorable results in terms of the gameplay and also the sales it produces. So I will start with my title that I think would essentially achieve the sales and the gameplay, something that'd be more popular and more accepting, and something that I think Capcom in the boardrooms would look at. And looking at the list of games, I would have to say it would be maybe like the first Devil May Cry. Again, I'm not saying that game needs to be remade, but I do think that if we were going to look at them doing a remake of an existing game, of an old game or an existing franchise, and one that's popular, seeing how Devil May Cry 5 pretty much revived the series, I could easily see them doing a remake of the first Devil May Cry. Number one, the first Devil May Cry was phenomenal. It was the first one, burst onto the scene. Everyone loved it. Now the game, still holds up to this day in terms of its playability. It's not a game where it had like super bad controls or it felt awful. No, it was 60 frames, pretty responsive. Didn't have really archaic or weird functions, so it would actually be an easy transition. But again, it's a game and a series that's beloved and loved by people, and I think it would be an easier sell to kind of bring that out to the masses. And also, like I said, it was a really well done game, and it would be nice for them to kind of give it the look and feel of modern Devil May Cry. But again, that's one I think they would do just because it can cross over, it can check off two boxes. It can check off the financials box, and it can check off the, fun, playability, great game, people enjoy box. Because again, who doesn't love Devil May Cry? I mean, I have yet to run into somebody who doesn't, and I'm pretty sure I will soon. But I have yet to run across someone who does not like that series. I know there are games in the series people don't like too, but the series as a whole, whether it be the first one, the third one, hell, even the fourth one wasn't bad, and then the fifth one, and I'll give a special shout out to the reboot, the DMC reboot. It wasn't trash, it just also wasn't really good, and in terms of gameplay, I absolutely loved the DMC reboot. I thought the gameplay was fun, and it's one of the reasons why I bought the game twice. Bought it on PS3 and also got the complete edition on PS4 because it played fantastic. But that's either here or there now. But now let's go on to my title that I would love, right? A title I really want to be brought back, or remade. It's not just a franchise I want back, just a remade title, one that could be given modern look, feel, controls, and I would have to say I'm leaning towards a game like Breath of Fire. And I say Breath of Fire, obviously because I love Breath of Fire. Number one, I thought it's a really underrated RPG series. I mean, I know it's tough in the middle of things like Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy, or even Tales. It's kind of hard to, shine. And you have to think about it too, back then you had so many RPGs. You also had the Star Ocean series. You had a lot. There was a lot to compete with. So I forgive them for not continuing with Breath of Fire and not, really putting it out there because there was so much going on. But as I said, I've been playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, and seeing what Square has done with that game, I feel like Capcom could do something equally similar with Breath of Fire. They can also make it, an action RPG. I'm pretty sure that would annoy and piss off some people, but I think it is needed and it could definitely work out, considering, again, you see what Final Fantasy VII was done. That was a traditional RPG, and they turned that into a kind of hack and slash game, and it didn't really hurt it, in my opinion. It actually made it, for me, more enjoyable. I don't mind traditional RPGs. I love them, but sometimes they can be very time consuming and exhausting. So I do love the quick, fast paced, feel of Final Fantasy VII Remake. And I think Capcom can achieve similar results with a Breath of Fire. Also, they've got pretty good characters. They can make it visually look stunning and really just expand upon the world and, make it just, again, really fun. Because you have to think about it, Capcom, not inventors of hack and slash, obviously, but they definitely made it popular with the Devil May Cry series. So they can bring that flair and fun, crazy combat from, DMC 5 to a game like Breath of Fire, while, maintaining some of those old school RPG elements. I think it would be a beautiful clash and something that people would actually enjoy. But again, I'm not stupid, and I know the company would not do it because Breath of Fire is pretty much long and forgotten, right? I mean, it would be a miracle if Capcom, you know, touched that series again. Hell, it'd be a miracle if they did like a collection of that series. But that's the one I really would want. Obviously, we have honorable mentions like an Onimusha. I think that would be really well done in a remake. If they redid the first one, especially considering that, you know, Resident Evil 2 was a huge success, Resident Evil 2 remake, and Onimusha was pretty much Resident Evil with swords. I mean, the look and feel, the movement controls, everything. It was just Resident Evil just with samurais. So I think that game could really benefit from, you know, being redone, remade. Unfortunately, the beat 'em up games like Final Fight and, you know, Captain Commando, I don't think those would fare too well because of just, you know, how beat 'em ups are, right? I think if it was redone or remade, it would probably be in the vein of like how Streets of Rage 4 was done, which isn't bad at all. But if you want to have that huge, humongous splash, wide appeal, I don't think it would be very conducive to that. Then you have the Mega Man series, of course. I would love for any of those games to, well, Mega Man X series, right, to be remade. But again, those seem like little small mobile type games where it's not really giving me that big wow factor. So yeah, I would love to see Breath of Fire done, but I understand, you know, they probably won't do it because Breath of Fire is not popular, it's not sexy. So if they were to pick something that is popular, I think it would be something like the first Devil May Cry, you know. But again, Onimusha is actually not a bad pick because Onimusha was a big deal during the PS2 era. People keep forgetting about that. That series was popular, so who knows? Maybe they could actually squeeze that in. But anyways, those are my thoughts. I was just thinking because I'm really excited for Resident Evil 4 remake. It's already a perfect game, and so far from what they're doing to it, it looks like it's going to be even better. So I absolutely can't wait. And yeah, a lot of companies are doing fantastic jobs with their remakes, so I would like it if Capcom did something else in addition to what they already did with their Resident Evil series. But those are my thoughts. Let me know down below what you guys think. What Capcom game would you like to be remade and redone and remastered? Well, not just remastered, but redone, remade. Let me know in the comment section down below. Do you also agree that maybe if you're looking at a game that's supposed to have commercial success, would Devil May Cry be the best pick? And also let me know about my pick of Breath of Fire, if you would like that as well, or if you think I'm just crazy and you know what, they should just remake something else like, I don't know, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, which they already did, but you know what I mean. Give it like this big, huge budget. Yeah, as always, my name is Shoryuken, and if you guys haven't already, please subscribe, give this video a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate the support, and all that definitely helps in me continuing, and I always want to say thank you. And with that, good luck and take care.